I'm going to reveal to you the top lead generation strategies that I have collected over the past 10 years of selling to get meetings with some of the highest level executives and founders. These are also lead generation strategies the top tech companies are using to scale their businesses. And I'm going to show you how to use this strategy for yourself to get meetings with your dream clients. Now, the first strategy I have for you is to understand that templates can only get you so far. So if you are doing any type of lead generation, let's say it's cold email, LinkedIn, DMing people, whatever, right? You're going to be able to find these templates online. And you're also going to be able to use ChatGPT to also find more templates. I teach a lot of people lead generation and I send them my best templates that have worked for me. But what ends up happening is that when I send it to them, and then they, fill in the blanks with whatever they're selling, they send out the messages, and what ends up happening is they don't get any responses. So the question is, how can this be? It worked for me. It worked for other people. Why doesn't it work for them? And that's because templates can only get you so far. So from a metaphoric perspective, the way I look at a, let's say, cold email template, it's like a glass, right? It's like a clear glass. So if you want to drink a cup of water, you put water in the glass and somebody drinks it. Now, the template is kind of like the shape of the glass. You put something inside. But if you were to put dirty water inside the glass cup, and everybody can clearly see that it's not safe to drink, they are not going to drink it. Just like if you have a template that has worked for many people, but whatever you're saying inside, or maybe your product is not good, or maybe you yourself is not a good personal brand, well, people are not going to respond. That's why templates can only get you so far. And the mistake I see people make is that maybe they join a course, they join a coaching program, they pay someone to do it for them, and it just doesn't work out. And they're like, why doesn't it work? The reality is it doesn't work because whatever they're selling sucks. And so in order to get your lead generation working, the most important thing is to make sure that you're selling something that offers value into society. It's actually something that people will use and will pay money for. Even if you had the worst cold email template in the game, if you're selling something that it's just so good, it will still work. An extreme example is if, let's say, Elon Musk cold email somebody. He could write, yo, in the subject line, and he'll say, what's up in the body. I'm pretty sure somebody would still respond because they know who Elon Musk is, right? That's obviously an extreme example. It's not necessarily about the template itself. It's like what you're selling, how you write. Are you speaking to them as a human being? Because if you're not getting those parts right, I can give you the best converting templates, but it may not work for you. And so you have to realize those things and fix your business so that when you do cold outreach or any type of outreach, that it just works so much better. Now, this actually applies to lead generation when it comes to creating content, because nowadays everybody's a creator, everyone's generating leads. And even if you send a cold email, they're going to Google you and look for your content on YouTube. And if they don't find anything, chances are they're not going to respond. But if you cold email somebody and you got a library of good content, chances are they will respond, right? So let's talk about lead generation when it comes to video. In video, it's the same thing. I can give you the perfect intro line, the perfect hook, the step-by-step on how exactly I make my video so you can do the same thing for your particular niche. But if you're just not a good person on camera, your speaking skills are not good, your topic is not good, you're not solving a real problem, nobody's gonna watch, literally, right? And so it's the same thing. Templates can only get you so far. And once you realize this, you can start fixing the right things in the business. It's not about trying to find the perfect template. It's about building something people actually want, and they will come. Now, speaking of lead generation, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for today's video, Tally. So Tally is a pretty cool software that allows you to create clean and simple forms. It's kind of like doing a Google form, but combining it with the simplicity of Notion. Now, what I like about Tally is that it has a lot of different templates for you to just get started right away and create forms, right? And I've actually been experimenting with myself where I'm going to have people use this form that I created on Tally using one of their templates, and have people fill out their information of like their personal details, mainly first name and email, country they live in, LinkedIn profile, and then also budget that they have set aside for education. So this way, when people join my live webinar, I kind of have an idea of who the audience is and the people that have budget to do some kind of higher level mentoring. I'll definitely directly reach out to them and have a conversation to see if it makes sense, right? So that's one application of how you can use these simple forms to grow your business. Of course, there are other forms as well. I mean, the potential use cases are definitely almost like infinite, right? Because forms could be anything, whether it's customer feedback, lead generation forms, customer satisfactory, doing a little quiz, whatever you want, it could basically do it all. The form that I just showed you right there took me literally 5 minutes to set up. So if you're looking to create your own forms using something like this, you definitely want to check out Tally for free. I put a link in the description for you to try it out. Now, the next tip I have for you is picking the right prospects, right? So this is actually a recent story where I was coaching somebody in their cold email campaign. And so they're like, okay, Patrick, I use your templates and I actually help them rewrite these emails to make it better, right? So I was like, okay, man, like I'll help you out. I'll put my touch on it. Now I'm like, okay, like who are you sending these emails to? And they're like, oh, I'm sending it to real estate companies. I'm like, okay, let me see the list, pull it up, right? So he's screen sharing it to me on Google Meets. And I'm like, bro, you're sending it to the wrong people. So he was like sending it to the legal assistant, this person, that person that has no relevancy to the product that he's selling. So I'm like, why do you think this work? You're not even sending it to the right people. So of course your response rate is going to be horrible. It doesn't even matter if I write your emails myself. It's not going to work because you're choosing the wrong people to send it to. And I know this sounds pretty obvious, and I know it sounds like common sense, but after coaching so many different people, I realize they all have the same problem. They don't pick the right person. So let me just show you how to do it. When you're selling something, let's say you're selling a service in marketing, right? You want to look at the companies you want to talk to and look at who works in marketing. And you only want to reach out to people who are director level and above. Director, VP, CMO, sometimes it's a founder, sometimes it's a CEO. And you want to do one more person who's kind of a wild card. It doesn't have to be directly related to the department you're selling to. So it might be the CIO, right? So if you're selling a marketing software, hit up Director of Marketing, VP of Marketing, CMO, and then I would also add the CTO because they're also related to tech in a little bit, right? That's what I would do. If you're reaching out to anyone outside of that, chances are very low in terms of response. It's kind of funny that people always talk about like, oh, my response rate is so high, or my response rate is not good. What's going on? You told me to use this template. I didn't tell you to send an email to the legal assistant. Obviously, they're not going to respond, right? And so that's an important part, picking people who are likely to respond. Now, it's not only the individuals at the company, but it's also the companies itself. These days, there are certain indicators that you can find online that increases the probability that someone will respond to you. For example, if you're selling, let's say, some kind of AI software for, it's a Shopify plugin. Well, you can go online to look at all the Shopify stores, e-commerce stores that use Shopify on the back end, and you can check with ChatGPT, check these websites to see if they run any type of AI chatbot or whatever, right? And so you can get a clean list of companies that use Shopify that have revenue over 1 million who don't have an AI chatbot already. That increases the probability that they're going to respond. So if you're selling some kind of chatbot service and you hit these criterias, they're more likely to respond. Like if you sent an email to an e-commerce store that didn't use Shopify, of course they're not going to respond, right? And so you want to think about, for your particular sale, what are all the homework that you can do to build the list to increase the probability that they're going to respond. It can't just be like, I'm going to hit up every real estate company in California, because that's not really like a true list with intent. But if it was real estate companies that have 10,000 visitors on their website per month, and they have a very bad way to collect leads, and you want to build some kind of new lead generation system that captures people's information, then it becomes more relevant. If they have no website traffic, there's no leads to capture. And these are all things you have to put in the extra work to find out. And I think most beginners especially, they get really lazy with it. They don't understand that you can look for intent. And so they just blast thousands of emails, crossing their fingers because they heard a YouTube video where somebody said volume is everything. It's really not. It's only part of the game. Having intent or understanding the pain points of your clients or predicting it using data is going to be the key to increasing your response rates. I would rather email 100 people who had high intent for my product I was selling than email 10,000 people who had no interest in anything I had to offer. Like, it's obvious, right? So go after people who are more likely to buy your thing. That's it. And by the way, if you're somebody that wants to build your personal brand and start your own business, you definitely want to join our free Founder X community, where we're going to have a free version of our premium course, as well as live webinar sessions. And I'll be there talking to people, helping you guys out when it comes to content creation, lead generation, and sales. So if you want to check this out, link is in the description. Now I'm going to give you one of the ultimate tactics when it comes to lead generation. This by far is probably the most important and probably also the most difficult to master, and that is learning how to reference. So whether you're generating leads with content, doing cold emails, LinkedIn outreach, whatever it is, referencing is the key. So what is referencing? When you're doing let's say you're making content, like a YouTube video like this, right? You don't actually want to start with a blank sheet of paper. It's very hard. The way you actually do it is you look at what's already working and reverse engineer all the variables that makes it work. Then you copy it, but do it in your style. Yes, the word is copy, because everybody copies each other. That's just the reality. There's nothing original. So if I make this video and it goes viral and it takes off, there's probably going to be 10 other people that are going to copy the thumbnail, the title, and the content. And I've had people literally copy my videos like point for point. So what happens? But what am I going to do? Sue them? It's going to be a waste of my time, right? It just is what it is, right? I take inspiration from others. Others will take inspiration from me, and we all create something new by remixing all these things. Nothing in this world is original. So if you're making a video, look at the top 5 creators who are in your niche and see what they're doing. How do they do their thumbnails? How do they do their titles? How do they do the hook for their video? What are the points that they make in the video? And then you want to analyze and say, okay, like I understand why this is working. What can I do that's similar but add my own twist to it? So if they're a thumbnail like this, how can I change the copy? How can I change the colors? How do I add my face to it? How do I change the graphic? And next thing you know, it's going to be something completely different, but it's still built on the base of something else, so it's a higher likely chance of working. Now, the mistake a lot of beginners have is that when they're starting from scratch, they think that everything needs to be original, and then they stare at a blank sheet of paper and they don't make any content. You know, there's someone I'm literally coaching right now where I'm like, hey man, like let's make some content for you to generate leads. And they're like, okay, cool. So they went through the course, I gave them the coaching, I showed them exactly how I do it, so they have all the information they need. And then I'm like, yo man, where's the content? They're like, oh man, like I'm not sure, do I need to take another course on this? I saw this other guy, he was talking about this. I'm like, bro, I already told you everything. So if you have all the information you need to make the content and it works for me, more information isn't going to help. It's execution at this point, right? So anyways, going back to the whole reference idea, the reason why they're stuck is because they're not finding the top 5 creators in their niche and referencing. In the beginning, you can literally like take someone's post, copy it line for line, and maybe not even post it just to get the idea and flow of what they're thinking. You know, for a lot of copywriters out there, you know, they teach that in order to get good at copywriting, you want to look at someone's master, you know, copywriting, which is selling with text, and just copy it with your hand, like literally not even on your computer, but writing it word, letter for letter, and then you feel why they're a good copywriter. That's what they teach. It doesn't mean you pass it off as your own, obviously. You're just copying to mimic, right? It's like being an artist when you're drawing. When you draw, you're copying other things to see how they did it, and then next thing you know, you're creating your own characters. So it's the exact same thing with content. Look at what's already working, copy it, reverse engineer it, remix it, add your spin, add your flavor, your unique perspective, your opinions, and then it will become something new. And a lot of times, most of us aren't even good enough to 100% copy another person. Even if I tried my best to copy the biggest influence in the space, I probably couldn't do it because they got their own unique sauce, their own unique team, the way they write scripts and everything like that. It's very unique to them. So I would just look like a watered down version of what they did, right? And so you're not going to even copy anyone 100% even if you tried. So if you did copy them and you add your own remix to it, it's going to be so much easier. So this comes down to creating content on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and especially your cold emails as well. So for cold emails, you know, like in LinkedIn messages, obviously you can't like see somebody's cold email, right? Unless you got it from them. But instead what you want to do is you want to look at templates. I give templates in my courses. You can look at templates online, Google it, ChatGPT, they'll give you templates too. And then from there, you want to copy what works and then change it for your particular sale. That's all it is. So a lot of the world, if you're into streetwear and stuff like that, there's this guy, Virgil Abloh. You know, he passed away already, rest in peace, but he had this popular brand called Off-White. And his whole philosophy was that all he would do is he would reference things that already existed, and he said he would change it by 3%. So he's just taking something that was popular like 30 years ago, bringing it into today's time, changing it slightly to make it fresh for today's time. And he was very shameless about the way he did it, and people loved it. So if he created a sneaker, it would be his take on a certain sneaker, right? So he did a collab with Nike, obviously. Or if he was creating a rug or furniture, he would take what already existed and just remix it a little bit. This is the magic to creating something original. This is how I created my YouTube channel. It's how I created my courses. It's how I do everything. You'd be surprised. Like, I follow all the business influencers. I've taken a lot of their courses. And because I've taken everyone's courses, I can see that they're all copying each other anyways, right? So like you might get the top guy here. He learned from this guy in the past, right? If you took both people's courses, you'll definitely see the similarities between the two. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't fault anyone for doing that because I do it myself. It's just how the game goes. It's like somebody once said, where do great books come from? And then the answer was, great books come from other great books. Nothing is original, okay? So remember that. So if you want to generate more leads, you're probably not sending enough messages and you're probably not making enough videos. So volume is one of the keys in order to make more money. In any sale, especially if you're starting out, you want to basically track how many calls you're doing. So if you're selling something higher ticket, let's say it's $2,000 plus, chances are you have to talk to somebody over the phone in order to close them. And the more calls you have, the more chances you have to sell and the more money you will probably make. So now the question is, okay, what do you need to do in order to get more calls? Which is more volume in terms of whatever lead generation strategy you're using. So for me, YouTube is a really big part of the strategy. So the question is, how many YouTube videos can I make a week? And how quality can I make these videos? Because it's not good enough to have quantity. You also need quality once you understand what quality is. So like if I was pumping 2 super high quality videos a week, that would be like very good lead generation. Probably max, if I spend all my time, probably 3 high quality video a week, which I'm not even doing right now, right? But I know that if I did that, that would maximize the amount of leads I get. It would maximize how much I grow on YouTube, right? Now, if it comes to, let's say you're doing cold email or LinkedIn, right? It's the same. It's like, how many messages are you really sending a day? Like, I remember I was coaching somebody, or it wasn't coaching, it was a call. I was like, okay, like, how are you thinking about doing outbound lead generation? They're like, oh yeah, we're doing LinkedIn outbound. I'm like, okay, well, cool. Like, how's it working so far? Well, it doesn't really work. Okay, well, how many messages have you sent? 2. I was shocked. 2, right? I'm like, did you even follow up with those people? Nope. So you sent 2 messages to 2 random people. They didn't respond, and you think it doesn't work. Yep, that's right. Don't know what to say. You know what I mean? It's just not enough volume, right? So it's like, of course, most people are going to say no. So if you only sent 2, chances are they're not going to respond anyways. You got to send at least like 30 a day, at least, right? The more volume you have, the more you learn, the more you figure out what people like, what they don't like, and the more you can improve. If you're only sending 2 and you gave up and you say the whole medium of outbound doesn't work, then it's not outbound that doesn't work, it's you. It's like saying, oh, like YouTube doesn't work for generating leads. How many videos did you make? 4. Okay, how many views you get? Like 50 each. Did you give up after that? Yeah. It's not YouTube. YouTube works perfectly fine for me. It's just you gave up. So whatever way you choose to generate leads, like you have to understand it's volume, right? I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel, I've sent thousands of emails in my, lifetime. And it's like, that's what it takes to get those meetings. And so more volume, a lot of times it solves a lot of problems. The more volume you do, the more you kind of learn what works. Now, you would be a fool to do high volume and learn nothing. Then you're literally going nowhere. But with every email you send or every video that you make, you have to really think, are you actually getting better? Are you optimizing your thumbnail? Because your title could have been better. The idea of video could have been better. Or that subject line that in that cold email could have been better, right? If you're not analyzing these things every week, then yeah, it's not going to work. But if you do the volume, put in the quality, you put in the time, and then you really reflect on what works and what doesn't, you're going to get further than everybody else. It sounds simple, but that's all it really is. This whole entire process of sales and lead generation, I've been talking about it for how many years now, right? It's always the same. You have to really reflect on what you're doing in order to improve. So I'm going to give you another tip when it comes to outbound especially, and that is talking like a human. And actually this also applies to creating content if you think about it, right? When I coach people and I give them my templates, a lot of times when they send the emails back to me and they're like, yo, what do you think, Patrick? They look horrible. They're like, we have an AI chatbot and we're going to help you increase revenue by 35%. And it just sounds so cheesy, sounds so salesy. And I'm like, come on, man, no one's going to respond to this. And they're like, oh, why not? I used your template. I'm like, bro, it's not the template. It's just the way you're writing the words. So here's the tip. You want to speak like a human being. So imagine if you're doing any type of writing, try to write as if you're talking to a cousin. You're not gonna like use all these buzzwords that they don't understand, all these percentages and all these promises that sound fake. You're gonna keep it real with them. You're gonna be like, hey man, like I saw that you have chiropractor practice. Seems like you're doing pretty good, but I'm just curious, like you haven't been running your Facebook ads or anything like that. And I was wondering why not? It's like a conversation. And then you can actually, take it from there, whether it's a meeting or a phone call or whatever the case is, right? That's how I approach any type of outbound. Speak to them like you're talking to another human being. And I know like when you're starting out, you might think, oh, like if I'm reaching out to the CEO of this company, should I be like very professional? No, not really. You should be professional, yes, but you should be also casual. Speak to how they want to be spoken to. And if you talk to CEOs, if you gain more experience, because I have, they're just normal people that work really hard and they're in a high position, but they still talk like a human being. So whatever, medium you choose, whether it's making YouTube videos, copywriting, doing LinkedIn posts, or writing that cold email, talk to them like you're talking to a human being. It's going to take you extremely far. The moment you start sounding salesy, and that's using jargon, making these big promises, revenue's going up, that's when they know it's a sales call. You're trying to sell them something, they're not going to respond. But you're like, hey man, like I'm just trying to help to see if there's opportunity to work together. If not, it's totally fine. It's all good. Start having that tone and how you approach everything. You'll be surprised. People will be very attracted to you. Now, here's a master tip for you, and that is taking on free clients. In the beginning, if you're trying to figure things out and you're not selling anything, just do the work for free. Try to take on like 3 clients. It doesn't have to be that much. the best way to sell another person is to show the success of a previous client. So if you help somebody, let's say with their cold email lead generation, and you want to sell other companies on this service, but you have no track record, why would they believe you, right? You've never done it before. So if you went to a group, like a cold email school group or a Facebook community, and you're like, hey guys, I'm starting out. I've learned copywriting from Patrick's course, right? Let's say you like my videos, right? You're like, hey, I want to take on 3 free clients where I'm going to do your lead generation for you. And I'm going to book you meetings with your dream clients, and I'm not going to charge a penny. But after the first month, if I succeed, we could talk about what it looks like if we were to work together in a paid capacity. But, if not, it's totally fine. But I just want to get the work out there and get a testimonial, right? At the minimum, that's all I want. Chances are, if you're willing to do all that work for free and they kind of trust you somewhat, what's free, right? Then if you got them results, you get that testimonial, come back to the group and be like, hey guys, last month I said I was offering free services. I took on 3 clients and here are the results I got. I got them their dream meetings and a couple of them actually closed. So this time I want to offer the same services, but it's going to be paid, just to be transparent with you. So if you're somebody that's looking to generate more leads using cold email, write a comment under my post and then we'll chat in the DMs. So if you do that in the right way and you approach it like you're not trying to sell too hard, you're just trying to offer value, people will take you up on that offer because you already got the result for the other person. So sometimes the fastest thing you can do to generate more sales is to just do the work for free, get the result, and then charge money for it. Now, if you already have a reputation and a brand and you help people before and you've made money, obviously you don't have to do it for free, right? You can charge money right away. But for a lot of people starting out, yeah, you should charge for free and just get the testimonial. Because the thing is, even if you reach out to another person in another group, you don't even have to say that your first clients were free. So there's not even that expectation that you're a beginner anymore. It's like, he helped 3 people, they got results, and now he's charging $2,000 a month retainer plus whatever. It makes sense to me. So they're going to go for it, right? And if you offer money back guarantee, then why wouldn't they go for that lead, right? So that's a key to getting more leads. Here's how you're going to generate more leads: by creating content with a purpose. So for most creators, especially people starting out, they make the mistake of just randomly creating content, just trying to get views. What I've learned over the years of doing YouTube for like 5 years plus now is that certain videos will make more money than others. And it doesn't mean the one that gets the most views makes the most money. It just depends on how you monetize your views, right? So right now, the main thing for us is we're selling a program called Founder X, which is a community coaching program and courses. Now, it's specifically designed for founders and people who are aspiring to be founders, or people who have a 9-to-5 job. They have a real skill that people will pay for, and they're trying to figure out how to do this whole internet marketing to start their own thing, right? So that's our ideal customer. So if I made a video, for example, how to do a cold call, it attracts a lot of different people. Like, it could be founders, it could be salespeople. Now, a salesperson isn't quite a good fit for Founder X because I'm looking for entrepreneurs, not people that work at tech companies, right? It doesn't attract enough of the right people. But if I made a video specifically on how to quit your 9-to-5 and start the business of your dreams, that's going to directly target people who would be a great fit for Founder X, right? And it would not really attract a lot of salespeople unless they thought about quitting their sales job. And so the leads that are coming from this second video that I'm talking about will be much more of a better fit for my particular offer. I've been experimenting with this on my personal YouTube channel. You can look for yourself. It gets less views because my audience is more sales centric, right? Like, it's B2B sales overall. And I'm starting to niche more into the founder space, right? So in the beginning, it'll get less views, but over time, it'll get more views, right? But I found that even if a video gets like 3,000 views, the leads from there is way more worth it than a video that gets 10,000 views that's too general. I would rather have the higher quality leads because each person is literally thousands of dollars. So it's not always about how many views you get, and you shouldn't judge company based on that. You should judge them based on their revenue, right? Because there are a lot of companies, you'd be surprised on YouTube, where each video might be getting, let's say, like 2,000 to 10,000 views per video. So you're like, okay, like, it's a decent channel, but they may be making millions of dollars on the back end because they're able to monetize at a very high price. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you're just talking about like productivity in general, it might get more views, but like, what can you sell? You know what I mean? Can you sell a $5,000 productivity course? Some people can, but like most people cannot. Then it's like, are those views even worth a lot? And so the key is really to create content with a purpose. And for me, what I'm like to do, and I teach my clients as well, is you want to think about your offer. How is it that you want to monetize? Who are you helping? And then just create videos that reverse engineer their problems that they experience into a video that has a solution. And then naturally, if they were like, oh wow, that was actually pretty good, and then you say, hey man, like, if you want to learn more, check the link in the description to find out how we can work together. They'll click the link. So I would rather have somebody create a video that gets 1,000 views, but they get like 10 leads from it, and out of those 10 leads, maybe 2 people close, right? And then each person's worth a couple $1,000s. I would rather have that than have a bunch of views views, but nobody closes. So every video you make, you really need to think about like, what is the purpose of this video? Like, do I just want to get more views? Do I want to get more leads? Is it to make more money? You know, what is the specific purpose? And for a lot of people, especially for entrepreneurs, it's actually to generate revenue because you can reinvest that revenue back into the business, right? So that's the whole game. And by the way, if you want to learn how to create content with a purpose, you definitely want to check out our free Founder X community, where we're going to have free courses, live webinars on how to build your personal brand and monetize your skills. So link in the description to learn more about that.